Assalamu alaikum, my lovely writers. I hope you guys are doing great today and are ready to start writing. Today, we are doing a personal narrative writing extra practice about personal narrative. We are going to write something that happened to us. Personal narrative is a true story about something that happened to us and that we want to tell to someone, that we want to write it so that other people can read it and know our story. Before you start, I need you to be prepared like this boy. He is sitting in a proper position. He is ready to start. He has his notebook, his pencil, he has good light, and he is ready. So I hope that you are just like the boy. If you are not ready yet, go get your notebook, your pencil case, and get ready. By the end of this lesson, you're gonna be able to say, I can write a narrative with a clear sequence of events and relevant details. We are going to revise all of the steps of our writing process. We have 6 steps. So we're going to revise them all in the following slides. So here is the writing process. We have how many steps? How many steps do you see? From down going up. We're going up the steps like this boy. The first step is the pre-write. It is the pre-write. That is step number 1. Step number 2, plan. Here is where we plan. Step number 3 is the draft. Then we revise. Then we edit, and lastly we publish. And we are so happy to do our job and to publish our story so that the readers can enjoy it. So again, the 6 steps are pre-write, plan, draft, revise, edit, and publish. I want you to repeat after me. Pre-write, plan, draft, revise, edit, publish. Great, guys. What are those? What are these? I forgot. Let's go to the next slide to remember them, to revise them. So, again, here is the writing process. We do the pre-write. That is the first step. What happens in the pre-writing? We think about a topic. Here is where we brainstorm ideas. So the first thing we have to do when we want to write is to brainstorm, to get ideas in our head, to think, today I'm gonna write about something. Let me write about the day that I went to the beach. Or let me write about the day that I had so much fun with my friends. Anything you want to write about, you have to first think about it. You have to brainstorm it. That is a pre-writing. Second step is the planning. Okay, now that I have my ideas, I have to organize them. I have to organize them. I have to think about what kind of structure you want. For example, what did I do first? What happened first? Or what is my story about? I have to write that at the beginning. Then I have to say what happened after, and what happened next, and what happened then, and what happened last. So I have to plan and organize my thoughts. When I have my thoughts organized or my ideas, I do the third step, which is the draft. Here I start to write. I put my thoughts and ideas on paper. I write everything. I just write. I do not worry about any mistakes. And then I read what I wrote to myself. After I write a draft, at the end I have to read it to myself. So when I read it to myself, here is what I hear that, oh, I have to do something. So After the draft is written, you go and you revise it. Here is when you read it to yourself. You revise it. What can you add to make your writing better? After you read it, maybe you think of something that you want to do with your draft. So what do you do? What can you do with your draft? Well, I can add more things. Let's just take some notes here. When I'm revising, I can add some things. I can also I can also remove some things. Maybe I wrote something that I don't want it to be on my story. So I can remove something and I can change whatever I want. So when I'm revising, I can do these things. I can add something, maybe I can add more nice words, more descriptive words, right? Remember the adjectives? I can add color, I can add size about my nouns. I can remove something that I wrote, but I actually don't want to say it again. I don't want to keep it. I will just remove that part. I wrote something, but I will remove it. So you do that. Or I change something. I can change a sentence or I can change some words to make my writing nicer. After I do these three things, I go and I edit. What happens here? When I edit, here is when I fix my writing even more. There is something I like to follow when I am editing, and I call it caps. I call it caps. I will tell you what caps means. I call my editing caps. What do I do when I edit? Why do I call it caps? Okay, I'm gonna tell you. C in caps is for capitalization. I check my capitals. I'm gonna make this smaller. I check my capitals. I see if all the capital words are correct, if I wrote any name and I didn't write any capitals, if I wrote the name of a city and it's a capital, I check all my capitals. U is for understanding. Do I understand? Do I understand what I wrote? Sometimes we write something, but when I read it, I don't understand what I wrote. So I need to fix that. But if I understand my writing, that means that it's good. It's good to go. I am doing a great job. P. I use P for punctuation. Did I put my full stops? Did I use commas? Did I use my punctuation marks well? Did I ask a question and I didn't put a question mark? That is my punctuation. So I check that. I fix it up. The last thing, but it's very important, the spelling. Here I'm going to check my spelling. If I'm not sure about a word, I look it up. I can get a dictionary or Google. You know, we love Google in our class. When we don't know something, we never say, I don't know. We always say, let me find out. We open up Google or we ask people around us. So if you think you have misspelled a word, you have to look it up and see if your spellings are right. So here is my edit. Always remember caps, capitalization, understand, punctuation, and spelling. Once I'm done with my editing, I am going to publish. What do I do when I publish? I turn my work into a published piece. That means people now can read my writing and they are going to enjoy it because I did a great job doing it, right? Like all of you always do a great job when you write. So now let's start with what we are doing today. Now here, pretend that you have spent the day at the beach with your family. Right. If you want to change the idea, it's up to you. You have to now brainstorm and think, what am I going to write today for the for my writing class? If you don't have an idea, you can use this idea about a day that you spent at the beach. And now you start answering the questions that I have put here. Where did you go? Okay, I went to the beach, or I went to the cinema, or I went to the mosque, whatever you want to talk about. What did you do? One, two, three. You have to put three things that you did on that day. Sorry. Then, how did you feel at the end of the day? You have to also mention at the end. That is the closure. That is the conclusion. What happened at the end of the day? How did you feel? Were you happy? Were you sad? Were you excited? What happened to you? How did you feel at the end? Okay. After we do that, after you answer all these questions, you can make those answers into a paragraphs. You can use all the answers of this slide into a paragraph. So you put the answers together right here. And then you're gonna have a beginning where you will say, where did you go? You can say, I went to the beach last summer. I went to the beach on December. Whatever, that was your beginning. Whatever you answered here is going to be your beginning. Then the middle, the three things that you wrote here, the three things that happened are your middle. And the end of the story will be, how did you feel at the end of the day? I felt awesome at the end of the day. Something like that. But remember, try to use the words first, then, after in your writing, especially in the middle of your writing. Okay, so now, by now here, we have done 3 steps. We have done already the pre-write. Getting into the pre-write. When you thought about, already did your pre-write, where you've thought about what you're gonna think, what you're going to write about, either a day at the beach or a day at whatever you want to write about. Then you did your planning. The planning was the answers that you wrote. And guys, and after the planning, you just did the drafts in the previous slide. So now we have done 3 steps. We've done the pre-write, the plan, and the draft. Now here in this slide, we are doing 2 more, which is to revise and to edit. So till now, we have here in this slide 5 of our steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For the revise, you have to read this checklist. The revise checklist. Ask yourself, does the narrative tell when and where the story happened? Remember question number 1, where did you go? That is when and where. I went to the beach on December, or I went to my grandmother's house 2 months ago. That is your when and where. Does it end? Does it? If it does, check. Is the topic of the narrative clear? Do I understand? Do you understand what you wrote? Are events told in the order they happened? The points 1, 2, 3 were there in order. Are sequence words used to help order the events? Did you use the words first, then, after? Okay? Does the narrative have good details and ideas? Did you write enough details? Like, I don't know, colors, how you felt, um, how the weather was, any details. If it doesn't, you add, or you can now change something. This is where you revise. You now check or add or remove whatever you need to do so that all these boxes are checked. And then comes the edit. The edit. Remember the caps? We use caps here. Do all the sentences begin with a capital letter and end with a punctuation mark? C from caps and P from caps. Capital letters, punctuation marks. If yes, check. Are all sentences complete sentences? That means, do I understand? From caps, do I understand? Yes. Are words capitalized? That should be my C of caps. Yes, they are capitalized. Are words capitalized? That should not be. Also, C from caps. If I capitalize something that should not be capital, then change it and then check. Are paragraphs set in correctly? Sorry about that. Are paragraphs set in correctly? If yes, done. Are all words spelled? The S from caps? Yes, checked. So now I am done with my editing. And what is next, guys? What is next? What is number 6? I'm sure you said it. Yes, is to publish. We are now going to publish. And this is your task for today. You need to write a task. You have a writing task. After you have revised and edited your personal narrative, you have to write your final form. So use any notebook, any paper to write your personal narrative, to publish it. And once it's published, you have to send it to me in Class Dojo, guys. I'll be waiting during this weekend. You can send it to me up to Saturday. And thank you so much for today's lesson. And I'll see you on Sunday for our next English class. Bye bye.